So this is a game, we're about to play a game we call Shapes. This is part of some developmental or restorative work that you could use before or especially after more intense play, like natural movement training or functional training. This will remind you of some motor learning that you've done throughout your life, and you'll see why as we get through this. But to begin with, just lie face down, and we have you lying face down for a couple different reasons. We want you to get really curious about the sensations that you are experiencing in this exercise. The more curious you are, the more effective this kind of work will be. So let's talk about your base of support. Your base of support is the shape that is supporting you on the ground. The ground is your surface of support. So your base of support happens to be in the shape of, well, you right now. And the floor is your surface of support. Your points of contact are your weights. The parts of your body that are not contacting the floor are kind of like spaces. So your points of contact might be the tops of your feet, your knees, your thighs, the front of your hips. Your belly may or may not be a point of contact. The bottom of your ribs most likely is a point of contact. Chest, elbows, head, hands. So you've got a surface of support, which is the floor, your base of support, which is the shape of you, and your points of contact. So when we do our shapes in a second, you'll tune into what shape your base of support is and what shape you are making in your body. So the game here that we're about to get into is for you to make as many different sitting shapes as you can for about a minute, making it about between 5 and 10. And then after that, we're going to do quadruped shapes. So go ahead and work along with 𝐂𝐨 if you'd like. And it might be fun to work along with this video to see how many different shapes you can really make. We'll make a point about that in a second. So coming up into your first sitting shape, we'll start our minute exercise right now. Inhale as you notice your base of support, the shape of your base of support. And then as you exhale, come into your next sitting shape. And with every exhale, change your sitting shape. Practice finding different shapes each time. Breathing in through the nose and out through the nose is a good idea in this exercise. Having the tongue on the roof of the mouth is also a good thing to do in this exercise. And we've just got about 10 more seconds here. And notice that your brain might go into this space of, oh my goodness, I really don't have a lot of sitting shapes available to me. If you do have a lot of sitting shapes available to you and you're just changing fluidly, you're probably a really good motor learner and pretty mobile. Great. So now let's get into a quadruped position. So same exercise. With every exhale, you change. In a quadruped position, by the way, your base of support is like a square. So now changing your points of contact to 2 or 3 points of contact at a time, or 4 if it's very intentional. Change with every exhale for about a minute starting now. Again, you can work along with 𝐂𝐨, keeping it in a quadruped position. Squats are allowed. By the way, kneeling is allowed in this one, and kneeling is allowed too in your sitting shapes change up. So think about, what are my points of support on the surface of support on this floor? And then what shape is formed? What is my base of support? Sometimes your base of support is like a diagonal line. Sometimes your base of support is like a triangle like that, like 𝐂𝐨 just formed. Sometimes it's like a square. Every exhale, change. How many shapes can you make from that quadruped position? And we just have about 5 more seconds here. Definitely don't get into a place where you're holding your breath as you do this. And it's interesting because as you're breathing in these different shapes, you'll notice that there's actually stress on your rib cage and your diaphragm, and that your breath feels different as it's coming in and going out. Great. And then just return to your quadruped position, square base of support. And after you've spent just a couple seconds there, back to your laying face down position. And there's your base of support that looks like you. On your surface of support, which is the floor, your points of contact are your weights. And that is the shapes game. You could use that daily, would be awesome. But we would strongly encourage you to, after this video, do the sitting shapes and the quadruped shapes and notice what's happening in your brain as you do that. If the shapes come easily, you've probably been a great motor learner and you've retained a lot of early motor learning. If the shapes are difficult for you, don't give up. Keep trying. The more shapes you make, the more pliable you will be. Remember, the shapes you make your shape. So have fun with that and look for more developmental and restorative videos later.